I Draymond Green got ejected 4 minutes into the game.
Shocker.
Because he couldn't stop cursing at the refs. And everybody involved said Green deserved it, including, Coach Steve Kerr, and said he'll bounce back from it. And the Warriors were able to survive. But Draymond Green cannot get himself kicked out of games with his mouth or his legs or whatever the hell he's doing. He just can't do it. And I feel like, again, where it's Groundhog Day, where we're talking about this guy again. And I just don't know if he didn't speak after the game last night. He spoke on his podcast today.
Yeah.
So now he's using his reaction to getting ejected in a game that could have cost his team significantly had Andrew Wiggins not had one of his best games of the year, and Steph Curry bouncing back from one of his poorer shooting nights of the year to score late and put the Orlando Magic to bed, as he likes to do. But Draymond Green is now using his reaction to getting kicked out of games that he knows he shouldn't as content for his own podcast, which is totally nuts to me. And the only thing that matters, in my estimation, is the way his teammates will react to it. And last night in the game, they did not lose. They bounced back because Draymond can go on his pod as he did today and say he shouldn't be doing that, and he knows he shouldn't be doing that.
I said what I said. I deserve to be kicked out at that point. It's 4 minutes in, dude. Like, how can you be that upset 4 minutes into the game?
Well, I don't know. One of my favorite YouTube videos is Earl Weaver getting kicked out of a game in the top of the first inning because of a balk call. That's one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's not the. It's your team being in a situation where your playoff lives are on the line. Mm-hmm. Your teammates need you. You know your teammates need you. You know you have a hair trigger. You know that's a problem, to the point where you're now making commercials for cars and phones. I mean, we're going to see that commercial probably tonight because it's all throughout the entire NCAA tournament where he's wearing his Michigan State Spartans jersey and he's in a phone store talking about how he makes poor decisions and how you as a phone user should make better decisions. And we're going to see that commercial tonight. And you could poke fun of it all you want and try and rehabilitate your corporate image all you want. But when it comes down to it, your teammates need you on the court, and you couldn't control your language, and you got ejected. And that's my concern. Clearly he's never going to change. It's how do his teammates react to it?
I mean, Steph looked.
Well, Steph started crying, it appeared, last night. This is what Steph Curry, in the game, after he got ejected, this is what Steph Curry had to say afterwards.
All I say is we need him. He knows that. We all know that. So whatever it takes to keep him on the floor, and be available, that's what's got to happen, especially at this point in the year. So it was a tough way to start the game, but I am extremely proud of every single person that stepped foot on the floor tonight and responded the way that they did.
Because they didn't have Kuminga either. And you could tell, like, he's choosing his words carefully, and because he knows he needs Draymond from here on out, too.
He's got to be so frustrated, though.
Well, so the question is why did he looked like he kept shaking his head like he couldn't believe it. And he, at one point, bent over. He hit his face in his jersey where it looked like he was getting really emotional, like he was on the verge of tears. And Kerr was like patting him on the back to make sure he was. And then he had a poor shooting night after that. But when it came down to it, he was there in the end, and he came up with the shots in the end.
Of course.
But I kind of feel like it's, we're in the same place as always. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's got his jackets. The question is how does he want to be remembered? And I don't know if it matters to him or not. I honestly don't.
And also, you've got people questioning Steph Curry's leadership right now.
Well,
right?
that's crazy.
And it's crazy because now, like, his actions are starting to maybe affect Steph's, his Hall of Fame resume. Like, obviously, as a player, he's going in, but now people are starting to question Steph's leadership.
That's nuts.
It's crazy, but it's what's
going
on right now.
What's he supposed to do? Well, here's my answer to it. Okay, here's what my answer to it would be. Because when I watched it back, because I got the alert that Draymond was ejected, and then
did the game even start?
And then I was dejected because I have him in my fantasy semifinal right now. So he let me down too, if that matters or not.
Did you hide your head in your jersey?
I did not, because I'm not my. I was able to go on with my life. Steph Curry's playoff life this year is hanging in the balance. Certainly with the Houston Rockets unable to lose a game right now. 10 in a row for them.
10 in a row.
Right. So they're right there. They're not falling off. They need to keep winning basketball games. But when I saw then I hit the watch button on my alert on my phone to see what happened. And I kept thinking to myself, why is nobody from Golden State pulling him away? Like, he's clearly in a state where he cannot regulate. And I know I sound like I'm talking about a child, but in that situation, that's what it looks like to me. He was not in a mindset to regulate. So they need to regulate for him. They need to pull him away. And if he starts, flailing his arms at them, then maybe that will snap him too, to realize that he's, flailing his arms at his own teammate. But he was not regulating well at that point in time, and reading lips, it was just like, what? Those are some magic words coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he said them. And I guess if what Curry's standing right there, and if you're saying people are saying he's not a good leader because he's just standing there letting it happen, I will tell you that what is he supposed to do? Maybe now he and the rest of the team needs to just step in and pull him away as if he's like getting ready to punch somebody, because his words are carrying that sort of weight, and he cannot do to his teammates what he did last night and for us to sit there and think, oh, well, the Warriors are going to go on a run here. I saw that last night and I thought to myself, there's no way this team is going to go on the run that I hope they can, which is a damn shame. Unless it's just like the old 78 Yankees, that the only way for them to actually perform well, or 77 Yankees is to perform well, is to have the circus around them. And, he was hugging everyone when they went in the locker room. Then he said nothing, and the only thing we heard from him is on his own podcast. So he's certainly a content creator. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.